everybody, it's Pumped Up Outdoorsman here, and today we'll be talking about tips and tricks about setting up your bow and sighting it in. I'm not an expert on bows. I've only had my bow for about 4 years now, 3 or 4 years. But if I would have known what I know now, I would have been a lot better off when I got my bow. Tip number 1, always wear proper attire. Whenever I'm hunting, I always wear a hoodie and a safety harness. So whenever you practice shoot, you always want to wear what you wear when you're hunting. So that way, when you're practice shooting, if you're shooting and your string hits your hoodie or your safety harness, you can fix that in practice instead of that happening to you while you're hunting and ruining your hunt. Tip number 2, always keep a good stance. You want your feet to be about shoulder width apart with a slight bend in the knees. A good stance means good stability, and a good stability means good grouping. And when you're practice shooting, you always want good grouping for the best results. Tip number 3, rest between shots. Another reason why your grouping may not be all together is because you're not resting between your shots and you get very tired. I know that before I knew this, I was, just picking up my bow. I would shoot one arrow after another, and then later through the practice session, my groupings would get off and I get very frustrated, not knowing that resting between my shots could easily just make my groupings a lot tighter in practice. Tip number 4, get your bow tuned. Another reason why your groupings may not be tight is because your bow is not tuned. A lot of times, even if you get your bow straight from the factory, your cams will be off. So take time and go to your local archery shop to get your bow tuned. Tip number 5, know your anchor point. A lot of times you may be off because your anchor point is not the same. So I would suggest getting a kisser button or getting a sight such as the IQ bow sight that tells you if your anchor point is correct or not. Tip number 6, and probably one of the most important tips, follow your arrow when it comes to sighting in your bow. Your sight depends. If I'm shooting low, if my arrow hits the target low, I want to move my pin down. That'll bring the arrow up whenever I shoot. If I'm hitting to the right, I want to move my whole sight to the right, and that'll get everything in line. So just that's a rule of thumb, is that follow your arrow. If you're missing to the right, move your sights to the right. If you're missing down, move your sights down. That'll line everything up and make sure that you're hitting the center of the target. Tip number 7, have a place to rest your bow. Whenever you need to move a sight on your bow, I always bring a chair out there with me. That way I can set my bow down and work on it. That way I'm not standing up, having to hold my bow and work on it. This way I can set it down and use both hands to work and concentrate on moving that sight just to the right spot to sight in my bow. And like I said, I'm not an expert at bow. I've only had it at my bow. I've only had it for about 3 or 4 years now. So if there are any tips that I missed, please put them down in the comments so I can know, so it can help me as a bow hunter. Don't forget to like my video and subscribe, everybody, and stay pumped. Thanks for watching. I hope this video helped you a lot. I know if I knew these tips when I was first starting out, I would have saved a lot of time. And remember, when you're sighting in your bow, it is very, very frustrating. I know it is, but stay in there, because the best part about bow hunting is the actual hunt. It's the easiest part. It's, I love it when bow season rolls around and all I got to worry about is sitting up in a tree waiting for a good deer to walk by. That being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to stay pumped!